I just wanted to clarify something with Grant that I've actually said awesome 38 times, not 37. I love that word. Let it be known. So to kick off our second day of Indie Ignite, we have a wonderful speaker, Gary Stripling, and he was on one of the panels yesterday. You'll recognize his face. Just a real solid man who's got some wonderful things to say, words of wisdom to us today. He's the president of the management agency, and his topic this morning is titled, Are You Marketable? Developing Your Vision, Mission Statement, and Brand. Please help me welcome Gary Stripling.
Good morning. I'm a shorty, so I'm going to bring this up here to me. Is that all right? There we go. So how many of you think you're marketable? Not too convincing. That means you're not. Oh, we got two hands back here, two hands over here, a few. So let me ask you again. How many of you think you're marketable? All right. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else, right? And I know it's early and you're yawning. Come on, have some coffee, wake up. It's raining outside. You don't have anywhere to go but to sit here and listen to me for the next 20 minutes, right? Cool. All right. Well, I want to talk just for a few minutes on are you marketable, about your brand, your mission statement, your vision. What does it take to get you noticed in the marketplace? It's important that you understand that you have a perceived value as an artist, as a band, as a speaker, as a publisher, as a writer. To your audience, your perceived value is pretty much in your hands as to how that is portrayed in the marketplace. You've got to understand that if you want to compete in the larger marketplace, the bigger picture, you've got to, raise your standards, your levels of your branding and your marketability. I tell my folks, if you want to play with the big boys, you got to put on the big boy pants. Right? Got it? Work with me. You got to talk to me, or this is going to really go bad if you don't help me out here, okay? All right, so I'm going to give you just a few examples of really good branding, and I want you to tell me if you know who these products are representative of. The first is I'm yellow and I'm a food. I have yellow arches and I'm a food. McDonald's, right? All right. I get you from point A to point B. And on the hood is an upside down peace symbol. Mercedes-Benz. It's really not a peace symbol, but that's what people think. When you shop here, the bullseye is always red. Thank you. Very good. Here's one. I don't know if anybody will get this one. After the parade, you'll want to go here shopping for some really good deals. Macy's. Very good. All right. Brand marketing is the art and the science of making a good impression on your audience. And that's very important. If you put all this money into a CD, you've gone through production, pre-production, writing, production, you've hired a really good producer, you've got a good product that's marketable, and then you've got a trunkload of CDs and nobody knows who you are and you can't move any of them. Is it because what is the reason for that? Maybe it's because you didn't take enough time up front to discover how marketable you are and to come up with a marketing plan to get you out there to these two subsets of buyers that we talk about. One of the goals of good branding is to create a consistently applied, recognizable marketplace identification which will lead you to two viable relationships with two subsets of buyers. You've got the consumer who's going to download your music, who's going to buy your CDs at your merch table, and then you've got talent buyers who are going to bring you in to perform or to minister at their events. You've got to make sure your brand is targeting those two subsets of buyers and it's doing a really good job. Otherwise, if you focus on one and miss the other, you're going to miss the boat. You're not going to be as happy and successful as you'd like to be. It's important that your branding is consistently applied to everything about you. Everything from your website to the artwork on your CD, your social networking sites. Are you on Twitter? How many of you are on Twitter? How many of you have been tweeting this week, today and yesterday? Okay, cool. Are you, do you have a YouTube channel that's been customized? A lot of people don't even think about that. Oh, I've got some YouTube videos, but they don't go in there and customize their channel, so to speak. Do you have press kits that are portraying your brand? How does your CD artwork portray your brand? Or is it just you went and picked out the best photo from your photo shoot, stuck it on the cover, and decided to let that portray you to the world? In other words, a lot of folks forget that this branding needs to be consistently applied in every aspect of who you are as an audience. Because again, you're targeting these two subsets of buyers: the consumer who's going to download and buy your music, and the talent buyers. A lot of people forget the talent buyers are looking at the brand. They're looking at how professionally developed you are. And again, if you're wanting to put out a really good impression to the larger marketplace beyond your hometown or your region or your state, then you've got to up your game. I work with artists and we say, hey, if you're here and the industry standard is here, what do we got to do to get you from here to here? Okay? And that's part of the development process that labels are no longer doing. Labels aren't developing artists anymore. Did y'all know that? Hello? Yes? Yes, absolutely. So you got to find somebody that can work with you and help you develop you in your branding, your marketing, to get you from here to here so that you can compete in the larger marketplace. Branding or brands are basically a perception or an impression that someone has of you. And there are lots of brand elements that demonstrate what the brand is. You've got perceptions of who you are, and then a representation of that perception in different ways. So we're going to talk about 8 different dimensions of branding. I know this is boring stuff, but trust me, you need to make sure that you've got this stuff down. Because if you don't, again, you're just leaving it to chance that somebody's, one of these two subsets of buyers is going to really get to notice you at all. First, your brand has to have a central organizing thought. They got to know who you are, and if you can't succinctly identify what your brand is in one thought, then you're missing a major piece of the puzzle. For instance, BMW. BMW's central organizing thoughts, 2 words: competitive achievement. Chrysler, cars that dare to stand out. Coca-Cola, all right, refreshing the mind, body, and spirit. So how would we apply that to you as an artist? It might be something like Kimla Beasley, ministering to today's generation for tomorrow's challenges. And I'm using some of my folks' names in these places. It's got to have a central organizing thought. These are exercises that each of my artists go through when we start the development process to make sure that their branding and that their branding is solid and that they're marketable. Secondly, you've got to have a slogan or a tagline. A lot of times you'll have in your header of your website, you'll have your name and then you'll have a tagline. Coca-Cola's tagline is Coke, the real thing, right? GM's tagline at one time was, everything we do is driven by you, okay? An applicable example of a slogan for an artist might be your name, like Pasquale Tallarico, exalting Christ. It's a little different than the central organizing thought because it's a tagline, and that tagline is going to be portrayed in your website, your press kits, perhaps even on your artwork of your project. Another dimension of branding is the personality. What's it like? What does it feel like? What is your brand portraying? Does it have life to it? Or is it just the best picture from your photo shoot again and a nice cool art, that you put on the back of your CD? And if anybody in here ever uses Bleeding Cowboy font again, I will come find you and hunt you down. Trust me, please do not use Bleeding Cowboy fonts. It was overused 6 years ago and people are still loving it. You can do a lot better. You know what I'm talking about? How many of you have used Bleeding Cowboy in your artwork? Ah, there's a few of you. All right. What's the personality of your brand? Some brands have real personalities that are attached to them, like Richard Branson of Virgin Atlantic Airlines. You've got William Shatner, who pitch his price line.